Look! ChuChu, Cha-Cha, Chiku, and Chica are on their magical flying carpet, and they're off to the land of fairy tales. If you're ready for a fun ride, say Chi, Chu, Cha!
Chi, Chu, Cha!
And today, the magical carpet has brought ChuChu, Cha-Cha, Chiku, and Chica to a tall, lonely tower.
Look at this tower. It gives me the chills. It has no doors or stairs, just one tiny window.
Which means that if somebody's inside, there's no way for them to get out.
Oh, that's scary. Well, it's also silent. I'm sure there's no one inside.
But Chica was wrong.
Oh, look! There's a young lady inside, and she's crying. Something's wrong. We should find out. Yes! Hi, I'm ChuChu, and these are my friends, Chiku, Chica, and Cha-Cha. We noticed you were crying, so we thought we'd find out if you're okay.
Oh, how kind you are, ChuChu, Chiku, Chica, and Cha-Cha. I'm Rapunzel. And no, I'm not okay. I'm a prisoner in this tower.
What?
Yes, a cruel and dangerous witch has held me prisoner in this tower for as long as I can remember. If she spots you, she'll cast an evil spell on you. Hurry, get inside. You'll understand how scary she is when you hear my story.
Without making a sound, ChuChu and her friends slipped in through the narrow window and then began Rapunzel's story. Rapunzel's parents were very poor. Most days, they went to bed hungry. Next to their old hut was a castle that belonged to a witch. The witch's garden had trees laden with fruit.
I haven't eaten a thing all day. Oh, what wouldn't I give for some fruit from that garden?
But no one ever dared enter the witch's garden. It was said that she had evil powers.
My dear, could you fetch me just one piece of juicy fruit from that garden, please?
It's very risky, my dear. If the witch catches us, she'll cast a spell on us.
Ah, very well then. I guess I'll have to go to bed hungry again tonight.
Just then, they saw the witch ride away on her horse. Rapunzel's father turned to look at his wife. He saw how pale and thin she'd become from staying hungry.
The witch has left the castle. Maybe I can dash into her garden and get you some fruit. Just this one time.
A few nights later, Rapunzel's mother was very hungry again. Her husband waited for the witch to ride away, and he entered the witch's garden again for some fruit. But that night, something unexpected happened. The witch returned sooner than usual.
Who's there? Aha! You dare to steal from me! Now you will be punished! I'm going to turn this man to stone.
Oh, please, please spare him. We will do anything you want, but please don't turn him to stone.
Are you ready to give me anything I ask for?
Yes, most definitely. We promise.
All right, then. I will spare your life now. But in exchange, when you have a baby, you must give the child to me. It will be mine.
And that was the witch's cruel punishment. for a few pieces of fruit. A year later, the couple was blessed with a beautiful baby girl with long golden hair. They named her Rapunzel, and they loved her dearly. They hadn't seen the witch since the day she'd threatened to turn Rapunzel's father into stone. And so they thought she must have gone away and forgotten all about the punishment. But they were so wrong.
Did you really think I'd forget about the promise you made to me? Give her to me!
Quick, my dear, pour this oil on the floor.
Rapunzel's parents tried everything to keep the witch from getting hold of their baby. But her evil powers were too much for them. And that is how Rapunzel became the witch's prisoner. Ever since she was a baby, she had been locked up in the tower and had never set foot outside. The only one who visited her was the witch. Years passed, and Rapunzel grew into a beautiful young woman with long golden hair. She had never set foot outside the tower, but she dreamed of walking free and someday meeting her parents. Every day, the witch would pay several surprise visits to the tower to make sure that Rapunzel was securely imprisoned.
Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Let down your golden hair! I hope you haven't been up to any tricks.
Who? Me? No, not at all.
And after she was satisfied that Rapunzel wasn't up to any tricks, she would leave the same way she came. Rapunzel led a very lonely life in the tower. But then one day, she got a pleasant surprise.
Oh, to be free. Oh, to sit under a tree.
That day, a handsome young prince was out riding in the woods. Drawn by Rapunzel's singing, he went up to the tower and secretly watched what was happening. He was struck by the beauty of the young girl in the tower, and after the witch left, he decided he must meet her.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair.
The minute the prince and Rapunzel met, they fell in love. Rapunzel told him how the witch had kept her a prisoner in the tower, and the prince promised her that he would return with a ladder and take her away with him to be his wife. But that was not to happen.
Oh, you cunning young things! You thought you could outsmart me? Take this! Anyone who tries to help you will meet with the same fate. They will be turned to stone. So don't get up to any tricks, Rapunzel.
Now ChuChu and friends understood why Rapunzel was so sad.
Oh, poor Rapunzel. Such terrible things have happened to you. We're going to help you.
No. Anyone who tries to help me will meet the same fate as my poor prince. You children had better leave fast. The witch will be here any minute.
But We can't leave you here like this. Let's think of a plan fast. Think. Oh! I've got it! I have an idea.
And that's when ChuChu had a brilliant idea.
Quick! Chiku, Cha-Cha, behind the mirror. Chica, you remember what you have to do?
Rapunzel. Let down your golden hair. I hope you haven't been up to any tricks, Rapunzel.
Look, witch, I'm here to help Rapunzel escape.
Why, you pesky little boy! Tell me, how will you help her if you're turned to stone?
And everything went just as ChuChu had planned. By using a mirror to reflect the witch's spell back at her, the witch got a taste of her own medicine.
Thank you, my little friends. Now the witch's evil spells will never be able to harm anyone again. But oh, my poor prince. Is he going to remain a stone statue forever?
Rapunzel, the witch's spell has broken.
The witch no longer has any powers. Come on, Rapunzel. Let's get you out of here.
And so the prince and Rapunzel were reunited, never to be parted again. The very next day, they were married, in the presence of Rapunzel's parents. The prince took Rapunzel's parents away to live in his palace, and they were never hungry again.
Rapunzel, we've got to get going now.
ChuChu, Cha-Cha, Chiku, and Chica, thank you for everything you did for me. I'm really grateful for your help. Please do visit us again.
We will! Bye, Rapunzel! Bye, Prince! That was fun! Now to our next adventure in Fairy Tale Land!
If you want to go on another magical ride with ChuChu and friends, say Chi, Chu, Cha!
Chi, Chu, Cha!
The magical carpet has brought ChuChu, Cha-Cha, Chiku, and Chica to a house made of candy.
Wow, look at this! A house made of candy and lollipops and gingerbread! Unbelievable! I want to take a bite! Stop! Don't! It's a trap! Get behind those trees. The witch will be back any minute. Hurry! Follow me! Hi, I'm Gretel. Hi, Gretel. I'm ChuChu. And these are Cha-Cha, Chiku, and Chica. Hi, Gretel. I'm sorry, Cha-Cha. I had to stop you from taking a bite from the candy house. The old lady, who's actually a witch, might have seen you. And she'd have put you in a cage, like she's put my brother Hansel. And she says she's going to eat him up. Whoa, Gretel, slow down. A witch is going to eat your brother? What's going on? Let me tell you everything. From the very beginning.
And so began the story of Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel were brother and sister. Their mother had died many months ago. Their father loved them dearly, but their father was a poor woodcutter who used to leave the house at dawn and return late in the evening. All throughout the day, he would worry about his dear children and wonder what he could do to look after them better. And that's why the woodcutter decided to marry again. The lady he married was very kind to Hansel and Gretel. But little did the woodcutter know that she was kind to them only when he was around. The minute his back was turned, she was cruel and mean to the children, and she made their lives miserable.
Here, eat this. Don't you dare waste it. Do you know how much it costs to feed the two of you?
She scolded them all day and starved them. She made them do all the housework. Hansel and Gretel never told their father about how their new mother was so mean to them. They didn't want him to worry or feel sad. But that was a mistake, because the new mother had evil plans up her sleeve.
Ugh, how I hate these two. I want to get rid of them. Tomorrow, after their father leaves for work, I'll take them deep into the woods and leave them there. They'll never be able to find their way back, and wild animals will eat them up. And I'll tell their father they ran away.
Luckily, Gretel overheard their new mother's wicked scheme.
Oh, Hansel, we're in trouble. Our new mother plans to leave us in the woods tomorrow morning to be eaten up by wild animals.
Don't worry, dear sister. I have a plan to bring us back home safely. Tomorrow morning, when our new mother gives us our breakfast of dry, stale bread, don't eat it. Secretly slip it into my pocket.
Okay, I'll do as you say, Hansel.
The next morning, after their father left for work, the new mother told Hansel and Gretel that she was taking them to a beautiful place that she wanted to show them. Hansel and Gretel knew what this was all about, but they pretended to be excited. She then handed them each a stale slice of bread.
Hurry up and eat this, and then we'll leave.
But as soon as she looked away, Hansel and Gretel hid the bread in Hansel's pocket and pretended to chew.
Still eating? Hurry up! Let's go!
And just as she had planned, the new mother took them deep into the woods. But clever little Hansel had thought of a great plan. He was leaving a trail of breadcrumbs as he walked. By following this trail, he and Gretel would be able to find their way back home. But alas, Hansel and Gretel didn't know that a hungry little bird was hopping behind them, eating up the trail.
The beautiful place that I told you about. It's here somewhere. I'll go look for it. You wait here. Don't move from here till I'm back.
Hansel and Gretel knew that their new mother wouldn't be coming back for them.
Well, Hansel, it's a good thing we have your trail of breadcrumbs to follow. It'll lead us back home.
Yes, and tonight when Father gets home from work, we must tell him the truth about our new mother.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go now.
And that's when Hansel and Gretel realized that the bird had eaten up all the crumbs of bread they'd dropped. They realized that there was no trail to follow back home. They were truly lost. They wandered around in the deep woods for hours, hoping to find their way out, but with no luck. Suddenly, they came to a small clearing, and standing in front of them was a pretty little house made of candy and lollipops and gingerbread. They were so hungry that they ran to the house and started breaking pieces of the goodies and eating them. Suddenly, an old lady came out of the house and spoke to them in a kind voice.
Who's that eating from my house?
We're two children, kind lady. I'm Hansel, and this is my sister Gretel. We are very hungry. Is it okay if we help ourselves to some goodies, dear lady?
Oh, of course, little ones. But I can't see very well. My eyes are weak. Will you come closer so that I can hug you?
Oh, that's so sweet. Sure.
Hansel and Gretel walked up to the old lady, thinking she would hug them. But they were in for a nasty surprise, because the old lady was actually a wicked witch.
Gotcha! You fell for my trap.
What just happened? Who are you?
Ow! Let us go, please. You're hurting us.
Let you go? Never! I'm a witch and I love to eat children. Why, you look like a healthy little boy. Yum! I think I'm going to eat you tonight. I was planning to make a soup in that pot, and I think a juicy little boy will go well with my soup.
Oh, please, let my brother go, please.
But Gretel's pleas fell on deaf ears. She sobbed as she watched the witch drag poor Hansel to a strong iron cage. She pushed him in, and drawing a big key from her waistband, she locked him up.
You girl, fill water from the well in this pot for my soup. I'm going to the woods to look for some herbs. And when I get back, it's going to be soup and your brother for dinner. Yummy!
So that's what happened. And now the witch will be back any minute from the woods, and she'll eat up my poor brother. Oh, please do something. Help me.
Of course we'll help you, Gretel. Let's think of a plan. Thinking. Let's see. Hey, Gretel, did you say the witch can't see very well?
Yes, that's right. She has weak eyes.
And where did you say she keeps the keys to the cage where Hansel is locked up?
They hang by a rope from her waist.
Okay, I have an idea.
Tell us, ChuChu.
Okay, so the first thing we need to do is take water from the well and make the ground in front of the cage really slippery. And I'm lucky I'm carrying these scissors in my pocket. What I'll do is run ahead to the path and hide in the bushes. When the witch returns with her herbs, I quietly cut the rope that has the keys. Then I'll sneak up to the cage and let Hansel out. The witch has weak eyes, so she won't be able to see me do that.
I get it, ChuChu. What a brilliant plan.
Once Hansel is out of the cage, Gretel has to somehow trick the witch to walk on the slippery ground.
And then she'll slip and land right inside of the cage.
And ChuChu will lock her up. And Hansel and Gretel will be safe. That's right! Come on, let's do it!
Hansel, don't worry. We've got a plan to save you.
And so the children got to work.
Witch! Oh, witch! I have bad news. Hansel managed to slip through the bars of the cage. He's escaped. Come see for yourself.
What?
And their plan worked perfectly.
There. That'll keep you from torturing little children. Bye-bye, witch.
Come on, everyone. Get on the carpet. Time to take Hansel and Gretel back to their father.
When Hansel and Gretel got home, they were in for a big surprise.
They're just two sweet little children. All they ever wanted from me is some love, and I treated them so badly. I left them to be eaten by wild animals. Oh, how could I have been so cruel? I must look for them, and if I find them, I will hold them close to my heart and beg forgiveness.
Mother!
Oh, you little dears, you're safe. I'm so sorry, little ones. Can you find it in your hearts to forgive me?
Oh, Mother, of course.
I promise to love you with all my heart.
And the day ended happily in Hansel and Gretel's home, When the woodcutter got back from work, his wife confessed all her wrongdoings, and she was forgiven. And Hansel and Gretel told their father all about how ChuChu and friends had helped them escape from the witch.
Thank you, ChuChu, Cha-Cha, Chiku, and Chica for saving Hansel and Gretel.
And for bringing them home safely.
I don't know what we'd have done without you.
You're welcome. We'd better be going now. That was fun. Now, to our next adventure in Fairy Tale Land.
If you want to go on another magical ride with ChuChu and friends, say Chi-Chu-Cha!
Chi-Chu